Sekiro is finally out, and if you're enjoying one of JRPG's finest games, I thought I would give you 10 more to enjoy on Xbox One. Actually, it'll be 11 as I couldn't leave out one, but Xbox One is infamous for not having the greatest support from Japanese developers, and it seems there is more than a few JRPG games that skip out on Xbox One entirely. It's often debated on why developers don't at least support the Western audience, though Phil Spencer has noted that Japanese developers are important, and that he would like to get more support from them. So that is for a different topic for another time. With that said, I thought I would compile some of the best JRPG games on Xbox One for those fans seeking these type of games, and thought this may make it just a little bit easier. If I miss any of your favorites, just post them in the comments below, so fans of Xbox and JRPG games can easily find them and try them out for themselves. Do remember that this list is an opinion though, and I am in no way saying that this is the definitive top 10. Nonetheless, without further ado, Sega has been one publisher that has done a decent job of supporting Xbox One, and recently released Valkyria Chronicles for the Xbox One. It's a strategy JRPG game that is really unique. I can't think of many games that are like Valkyria Chronicles in both terms of gameplay and art style. It has a memorable world, interesting tale, and is just tactical enough to get your brain amped up. If you like interesting stories and are a strategy enthusiast, then Valkyria Chronicles is right up your alley. If you like big open world games with unique monsters, you're going to love Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. It originally came out in 2012 for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, but was later brought to Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. It kind of reminds me of games like Skyrim, but with much better combat and unique enemies. It also kind of reminds me of Shadow of the Colossus, which is one of my all-time favorite games. It doesn't have a stellar story, but if you're looking for one of the better JRPG games in terms of gameplay and combat, you're not going to get much better than Dragon's Dogma. The design of the monsters and creatures is top-notch. The only problem is, it has yet to come out with a sequel. I mean, come on Capcom, you know what to do. From the father of Final Fantasy, Hironobu Sakaguchi released yet another classic on the Xbox 360 back in 2007, Blue Dragon. After he left Final Fantasy, he started a studio by the name of Mistwalker and designed two instant classics, one being Blue Dragon. It is now available through backwards compatibility and looks better than ever. It's a classic turn-based JRPG with a lighthearted storyline. Character design is reminiscent of Dragon Ball and Dragon Quest coming from the same art director, and if you like those old school turn-based JRPG games back in the 90s, you're sure to love Blue Dragon.
What's happening now? Infinite energy.
Monster Hunter has been super popular in Japan for years with the PlayStation Portable, but last year when Monster Hunter released on home consoles, it released in a big way. Too bad for us people who love our Vitas, but we're gonna ignore that. This is a true Monster Hunter experience on the big screen and has fantastic monster designs. What's so cool about this game is how realistic the monsters are. They have their own unique behaviors and interact with one another. The first time I saw a monster eat another monster, I was kind of in awe. The combat is excellent and it offers hundreds of hours worth of content if you really want to. You just have to want to go through the grind, because it wouldn't be Monster Hunter without it being grindy. I'm being serious about this. This game is a grind fest, so if you aren't into that, then stay clear. On the other hand, it's also a good cooperative game, and something that both you and your friends can enjoy for countless hours. Tales of franchise has been a bit of a hit or miss with me personally, but I fell in love with Tales of Vesperia when I first played it way back on the Xbox 360. It has a gorgeous art style that ages well, an interesting story with great characters. This is actually one of the most memorable JRPG games on this list, and that is primarily because its characters and story. It helps that the combat is also fun, if not a little simple, but to this day it's one of my personal favorites within this genre. They re-released it recently, Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition, with new characters. If you haven't played it yet, and you like this genre, do yourself a favor and get it now. This game may have ranked a little higher on the list if the rest of the Kingdom Hearts franchise was on Xbox One, a decision by Square Enix that still doesn't make sense to this day. But even at that, Kingdom Hearts 3 is a fantastic game. Even if you haven't played the previous games, you can still enjoy this game with a fun and flashy combat system, and some of the best production values in Japanese games. Sure, the story may not always make sense, but it doesn't stop it from being fun. If you have played the previous games though, the story remains interesting, if not a little unbelievable. I'm actually in the process of reviewing this game now, so if you want to know more, check back on my channel for more information soon. Hironobu not only gets one game on this list, but two with his Xbox exclusive Lost Odyssey. While people often argue what the best Final Fantasy game is, they may want to include Lost Odyssey on that list because Lost Odyssey is what Final Fantasy XIII should have been. Secretly, Lost Odyssey is one of the best Final Fantasy games ever made. It's a classic turn-based JRPG with a good story about immortal beings. It can be interesting, sad, and thrilling at any moment. The combat is some of the best in turn-based games, and if you're looking for that old-school JRPG feeling, you're not going to find better than Lost Odyssey. These type of games don't get made often anymore, but this truly is one of the best. While Final Fantasy XV may not always have the best reputation from old-time Final Fantasy fans, it has also gained a lot of hardcore fans that is convinced of its place as one of the best in the franchise. In essence, it can be a polarizing game, but with enough praise to gain a spot on this list. It also got a re-release fixing some of its biggest complaints among those old-time Final Fantasy fans, and it offers a fun combat system. Personally, it's the story that shines in my opinion though. While the original release did host its share of issues, I still thought the story was told beautifully, and it has only gotten better with expansions and its re-release. It still has one more DLC coming, but along with the main story and DLC of the boy band like Friends, this is one of the best JRPG games in a long time. It's an action-based JRPG with high production values. No JRPG list would be complete without Dark Souls. This game is almost a genre of its own, and it is one of the most influential games ever made. You can play Dark Souls 1, 2, or 3 and you can't go wrong. It may not have much in terms of story, but I can promise you it has some of the best combat in not only JRPG games, but in all games, period. I did want to mention one runner-up with Final Fantasy XIII. It is true that it's not a perfect game, and many Final Fantasy fans disown this game, but honestly, it's a good game in its own right. It also has got an Xbox One X enhanced release, which is reason enough on its own to play it. I personally don't believe it's as bad as many people make it out to be, and it's a good game on its own right. It's a turn-based JRPG with a beautiful world and creative art direction. First on this list has to be Nier Automata. I would love to put Nier Gestalt on this list as well, but unfortunately it isn't available on Xbox One through backwards compatibility, though fingers crossed for a future release. Nonetheless, Nier Automata is the whole package. It's an action-based JRPG game with fun combat, memorable characters, and an amazing story. It also has a music track that transcends video games. This is a game that when I finished it, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And it's a game that will stick with me for years and years. A true masterpiece if there ever was one. That's it. Hopefully this top 10 list has helped some of you out there discover some new games. If I missed any of your favorite games, make sure to comment below, and if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.